What's going on, everybody? So subscribe to the channel if you're not, and give me a like. I'd appreciate it. Give a comment below. We're going to discuss that there's no such thing as being bored. And right off the bat, if you ever feel bored, it's just because one of two things really, but one just being it's in your head that you feel bored. Because if you were out of your head and weren't listening to those thoughts, then you wouldn't be bored. In fact, if you were out of your head, then you'd be actually the complete opposite of bored, and you'd be very entertained with life, and you would love it. You'd be very observant. You wouldn't have thoughts, and it would just feel real good, and you'd be real happy. And then another reason why you're bored is because you just keep repeating the same patterns over and over, and the same cycles, again, the same cycles in your head, same thought patterns. So that's pretty much why you're bored. So it's the first way, and then the second way to pretty much, I don't know, get behind that or enhance that. I was pretty much, maybe when I was real younger and didn't notice this, was the only time I was really bored. So that being said, you never really are bored, and there's so many things to do. I don't even understand how someone could be bored, especially when they're not, usually when people get bored, it's when they're not at work. For some reason, they don't know what to do when they're not at work. Now, I don't know if they absolutely love their work, adore what they do, or some people don't like what they do necessarily, and still they're bored when they come home from it, because they just do it basically for money, because they have to, for their way of living or whatever. But they still get bored. The thing is just like, there's no such thing as being bored. It's impossible to be bored. That's what I'm getting at. If there's so many things to do, and I'm just gonna go off the top, like, you could stretch, you could go hiking, you could, play a video game, you could go for a workout, exercise, swimming, you could go somewhere new, walking, you could go hang out with somebody. I mean, go on the computer, you could start a YouTube channel, write a book, I don't know, join a class of anything, whether it's boxing, yoga, again, the gym, weight training. There's so many things to do. So I never understand every time someone tells me they're bored, and it just like bewilders me that they're bored. And these are just average people doing daily things, basically, that normal people do. Going to work of some sort and then coming back, and they just don't know what to do. It's just like, wow. Like, I seen these people the other day, and they told me they were bored because there's nothing to do anymore, and they were sitting in their vehicle. And it's just like, what do you mean there's nothing to do? There's just about everything to do. You don't have to do anything, but to say you're bored is just like redundant. There's so many things to do. And yeah, if you keep like getting distracted by your phone, of course you might be bored because you're not really necessarily doing anything. If you keep like scrolling through social media or even watching TV, like, you might not want to do that, or get bored, or just get distracted from it. So there's so many other things to do in life. I don't understand how someone could be bored. And then also, if you leave the construct of your mind, the thoughts, and you just observe and sit and don't have, which is harder for some people, it definitely is, but if you don't have any thoughts on your mind, you'll see that life is just in full-fledged in front of you. You see life, you see death. You won't have any thoughts. You'll be completely observant. And it's just really hard to explain to some extent, but this is what a lot of the scriptures talk about. Gurus, priests, Jesus, God, all these people, masters, gurus, again, monks, is what the whole most meditation, the stop the thoughts on your mind. And the reason being is because once you don't have thoughts in your mind, you just see for life what it is, and you can't be bored, because bored is a thinking concept, basically. That's exactly what it is. And you're just stuck in that cycle, not psychological, but cycle of patterns of thinking. So that's the only reason that's going on. If you were just sit there or stand there, and you can do so many things, but and not have any thoughts on your mind, then you'll see, like, wow, you won't even be thinking it though, you'll just see it, and you'll just be like joyful, happy, and you won't have them thoughts, because those thoughts are what really put you down and put you in fear, negativity, or even say you're bored, and then it won't even happen. So someone saying they're bored is just so redundant and doesn't even make sense. They're pretty much unconscious of what they're saying, or they're just repeating something again that they've just become on autopilot, per se, which you probably heard, or just again repeating something and not being really conscious, just like, how's your day, how are you, not really, there's really just being robotic about it, not being aware, not being alive. And this is the same thing, they're just saying something. So don't ever say you're bored, and there's so many things to do. Whether you can get all the thoughts off your head, even that's something to do. Necessarily, so you could never be bored, and it's just crazy to say that. There's so many things to do. And of course, when these people said they were bored, they weren't doing anything, they were just sitting there, not necessarily, and they weren't, again, they were having their thoughts on their head, like, of being bored, which is just complementary to what was going on. So there's just so many things to do. I could go over so many things, sailing a boat, rowing, it's pretty much endless, swimming. And it just never ends. So take life in your own hands, and don't be bored, or don't even say that, because there's no such thing as being bored. All right, so have a nice day. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think. And yeah, give me a like too. I appreciate it. Even sharing the video, that'd be cool. Have a nice day.